One of my viewers pointed out that there seems to be on a number of pro-Ukraine YouTube channels a lot of tanks going up, but they don't seem to reflect in the official reports. I don't show you that kind of thing either unless I can verify it, and today I can verify it in a big way, and we're going to see all that. Before I do that, though, we're going to start, well, over here. Let's talk about what the Ukrainians were doing to the Russians, long-range kind of things first, and then what the Russians were doing to the Ukrainians with their strikes, and then we'll get to the battlefield, and it's pretty amazing. Massive drone attack underway in Batavsk Rostov region. Russian air defenses attempted to intercept, but one of their missiles reportedly struck a residential building instead. That's their defense isn't all that great. It hits a home in Batavsk, a classic Russian friendly fire. Surface-to-air missile damages this drone. Okay, and then we saw this. A demilitarization of Russia's air defenses continues in occupied Crimea, and they're really going after these radar systems. HUR's drone unit burned down a cutting-edge Russian Valdai radar system at the Jankoy airfield in the peninsula's north, the intelligence agency reported, and you can see this happening in real time. The radar designed to detect small UAVs was carefully hidden, but HUR's operatives tracked and destroyed it. So a radar system designed to defend against drones was just destroyed by, well, drones. I mean, this is, yeah, the Ukrainian drone service is getting better and better and better. Ukrainian Navy Barracuda drone boat delivers FPVs for precision strikes on Russian vessel. Ukrainian Navy released this video showing how its Barracuda unmanned surface vehicle delivered FPV drones to carry out a sudden strike on a Russian boat. According to the report, the operation was swift, risk-free for Ukrainian forces, eliminating the enemy crew and ammunition. So again, these kind of technologies are getting better and better and better all the time, and they're delivering them from platforms that you wouldn't otherwise expect them to be able to do. Like this boat is amplifying the reach of this FPV, the aerial FPV. So we see the same thing with ground forces as well. Ground drones delivering FPV drones at a greater distance. Okay. It's from civilian aircraft to strategic weapon. Ukraine's long-range bomber. It's basically like they're converting these like little paraglider kind of things. That's not what this is here, but they're converting things like a paraglider or very small light aircraft into strategic bombers that you just wouldn't think that they'd be able to do, but this is what they're able to do. Okay, let's see what the Russians have done to the Ukrainians overnight, and then we'll look at the battlefield, and the battlefield was freaking amazing. I've not seen it like lit up like that. It's lit up like a Christmas tree. Okay, overnight, October 21st, Russians launched 2 Iskander-M missiles, 4 S-300s, 98 attack drones. Ukrainian air defense downed or jammed 58 drones. However, 37 drones and several missiles hit 10 locations. If you're just looking at that, let's get a rough cut. About 100 and about a third of that or so still got through. So that's not a great percentage. Another night in Kherson was stolen by Russian T. Once again, Moscow's army sent Shahed drones into, well, essentially not military targets, but sleeping civilians. And you can see the damage that was caused to private homes. Due to Russian strikes, Chernihiv is without water and electricity, not for the first time. Russia's goal is to make life of Ukrainian civilians unbearable. The policy has shifted, though, in Ukraine. Zelensky came out and said, if you hit our energy, we're going to hit your energy. And they didn't just mean oil. They're talking about electrical grid, and they're hitting electrical grid that's feeding into Moscow. So it's going to go the other direction this time. Unmanned systems forces have destroyed 1,000 Shahed drones so far. And so this is kind of a new thing where the unmanned systems forces is really focusing on this. The aftermath of most recent Russian attacks, Kharkiv region, 6 guided bombs, injuring 11 people. Chernihiv region, 51 aerial targets, including 2 ballistic missiles. A heating facility and energy infrastructure were damaged. Emergency power outages. The Dnipropetrovsk region, damaging 4 private houses, a car, and a gas pipeline. Pavlograd district, Building caught fire. A private house partially destroyed. Vehicles damaged. Kherson district damaging residential buildings. Educational institution outbuildings. People injured. So same kind of thing as you're used to seeing night over night. In Russia, the human safari continues across Ukraine. Near Rodensky Cross district, they targeted a civilian car. Then the driver was wounded and he begged for help. And it didn't stop because they had a second strike that finished the driver, a civilian in his car. They know what they're doing. It's just a whole different level of evil. Okay, Russia launched aerial bombs with combat range of up to 200 kilometers into mass production. So they're now trying to, it's not just Shahed drones and it's not just missiles. These are going to be the next wave of what Russia is going to use. According to the deputy chief of the Ukrainian Defense Intelligence, according to him, besides an increased range, these bombs with guidance modules feature enhanced resistance to Ukrainian electronic warfare systems. He also added that Russians have improved universal gliding and correction modules, which are fitted to conventional aerial bombs weighing from 250 to 3,000 kilograms. So this glide bomb thing has been just pretty terrible for the Ukrainians to experience. Russian forces unleashed massive KAB bomb on Orkhiv in Zaporizhia region. Earlier reports revealed that they had launched 4 simultaneous assaults across the region. Okay, now let's look at what was going on the battlefield itself. And this is the big story. And 1,130 Russians off the battlefield. That's high. That's like high since June kind of high. 8 tanks, so there's a number of tanks, 37 armored fighting vehicles. These are like the highest numbers that I've seen in a long time. 23 artillery systems, and then 134 vehicles and fuel tanks. It was a big day on the battlefield as far as like the interaction, and I'll explain what happened and why. So engagements and casualties are well above the average. Remember, the average is about 1,000, well, actually 1,000 for the year, and they'll be to 1,200, or sorry, 1,200,000 well before Christmas at this rate. Okay, most single day armored losses since early June are unarmored, also above average. And you're seeing that reflected here and here. Okay. Russian forces launched large-scale assaults across 4 fronts in south of Ukraine. The Russian assault groups advanced near Mala Tomechka, Shirkabaki, Novodanlivka, and Novoandriivka, with 200 troops, 3 tanks, 15 armored fighting vehicles. So there are a number of places where they were attacking simultaneously. In the Pokrovsk direction, that's what we normally look at, 65 assaults. That's reasonably high, but it matches the high number of casualties as well. Now, Russia lost 22 armored vehicles in a single assault on Mala Tomachka. Now, if you're seeing 22 armored vehicles and you're going, wait a minute, 22? Yeah, that could be within these, 22 out of 37 and 8 tanks. Yeah, okay, so that kind of matches up. Okay. Massive assault crushed near Mala Tomachka. Around 2 companies from the 71st Motor Rifle Regiment advanced with 26 vehicles, including tanks, BMPs, BTRs, Tigers. By 2000 hours, Ukrainian forces had destroyed 2 tanks, 12 BMTs, 6 BTRs, 2 Tigers. The rest were either wiped out or fleeing. See this guy here? Well, let's go back to the beginning of. Well, let me show it over on this one. Big Russian assault with 26 armored vehicles repelled today at the Zaporizhia front. See this guy here on fire? If we just go back, we see why. And again, the answer is drones. Look from the right of the screen. It's going to be coming in here. Here it is. There's a drone just hovering, waiting, biding its time, and it's going to make the thing smoke. Okay, happening today during the same Russian assault. Russian motorized assault group rushes to the attack. Kudos to those that laid the smoke screen. So they're attacking with a number of things, with armor as well as Ladas, as well as motorcycles. And somebody dropped the smoke screen. This guy met the vehicle. And this guy is going to go and he's going to slow down a little bit when he gets to the smoke screen and be cautious and go around the vehicle. Okay. And the next guy is going to go through the smoke screen, and he's also going to meet the vehicle, and the next guy after that is going to meet the vehicle, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of damage from that. So this guy stopped at the vehicle. How he stopped at the vehicle, well, that's an open question. Next guy, same thing. Okay, so that's the kind of damage that was being done. In Sumy Oblast, different place entirely. Russians caught trail of a Ukrainian howitzer, and within moments, swarm of FPV drones targeted the system. The crew commander, call sign Odessa, quickly organized air defense. His unit successfully eliminated drones with small arms, and eliminating drones with small arms is no mean feat. Russian tank overturns and falls into an anti-tank ditch. So here he's just, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry for the noise. Here he's just driving along in the anti-tank ditch. Well, okay, good. I mean, it doesn't have to blow up in order to be immobilized, right? So that's a good thing. Countering the massive Russian attack on the Zaporizhzhia front, we see other things going up in smoke. Russian BMP makes a boom. This is just one day's worth of stuff, folks. I mean, but I can actually see it in the statistics. So that's why I'm showing you what I'm showing you. Somewhere in the fields near Kupiansk, Russian troops to try to deliver manpower to their positions with motorbikes, and the Ukrainian drone pilots were already waiting within minutes. They turned fresh reinforcements into scraps. Again, I'm just bewildered by a commander sending out this with drones all around. I just can't see wasting life like that. A 40-year-old Soviet Ziguli modernized by Russians into a monster turtle tank. This is an old 40-year-old Russian car with the cope cage around it, and yeah. Okay, now, why are they doing this? Well, according to the ISW, the Kremlin is leaning into its cognitive warfare effort to portray Russian forces as relentlessly advancing and a Russian victory as inevitable. They have to show progress in order to keep that narrative. This effort aims to obscure the reality that Russian forces are only making minimal gains at disproportionately high manpower costs. The Kremlin is trying to use the information space to portray Russian victory in Ukraine as certain in order to push Ukraine and the West to concede to Russia's demands. The Kremlin is heavily investing in cognitive warfare capabilities and efforts to try to achieve its unrealistic war goals through diplomatic means. The ISW has observed no indications that the Kremlin remains willing to accept anything less than Ukrainian capitulation to all of its original war demands. That'll be what we'll talk about tonight in Three Big Stories. Willing to accept expendable considerations of amounts of manpower, material, time, and other resources to achieving these demands on the battlefield. That's why they're throwing such massive things at the Ukrainians. And when they do this, it doesn't tend to work out so well. Okay, even in today's papers, this is Steve Rosenberg of the BBC with reading Russian newspapers. From today's Russian newspapers, it doesn't sound like Russia's about to stop fighting in Ukraine. Today's edition of MK says, quote, "For us, a cessation of hostilities is inadvisable because they think they're winning." It's really bizarre to watch. All right, last little bit that I'll leave you with. Every morning at 9 a.m., not only Kyiv, but the rest of the country just stops. Coffee shops, grocery stores, main streets. People get out of their cars, giving 1 minute of silence and attention to thoughts of the guys at the front and the fallen. So that's what happens all over Ukraine at 9 a.m. For me, that's about 1 a.m. East Coast time, if I'm not mistaken. All right, my friends, shout out to Tom Roberts, undergraduate YouTube member. And for the rest of you, thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes. I try to read all the comments that I can, put them below what you think about what you saw today. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.